Hello, folks. Welcome back to the Redeemed Marriage Podcast. This is Rusty and Heather Bryant. And today we have some really exciting news that we are sharing with our listeners and our viewers. And we just want to kind of take you a little bit behind the scenes of a project that has been worked on for over 6 months.
Yeah.
And we want to just kind of invite you into that, but also just to be able to, I guess, officially announce that it's out there and that you get a chance to go and check it out this week.
And to share it if you feel so led.
That's right. So many times we have people come to us and they just ask us for our story. Like, where can we go, especially new people to, our social media channels or new people to our podcast. And people will write in and they'll ask if we have like our story where they can watch it or where they can listen to it. And of course, we've shared our story multiple times on our podcast. And so we'll point them to different, places where it just tells our story. But sometimes that's hard to just really share the whole thing and present it in a way that you walk away going, okay, I know what their story's about. And so for years, we have wanted to be able to share it like in a video form. And we've sort of talked about it and thought about it through the years. And I mean, we're just honestly busy doing other things. And so...
and that's not an easy project. It's expensive and there's a lot of moving parts. We couldn't produce something like that.
Right. That's right. It's not like we were going to get out our iPhones and tell the story. But we have friends and we have people that we know that do video stuff. And so we knew it was a project that was going to happen at some point. But we had a wonderful, this is just God putting these things in place, but we actually had WinShape Marriage reached out to us last summer, and they just said, hey, would you guys be willing for us to record your story, basically video your story, and we want to use it for some of our programming. And if you're not familiar with WinShape Marriage,
should be.
Just go look it up. And we'll tell a little bit more about our connection with WinShape and how that has all come about through the years. But we recently got reconnected with them, and we had attended a couple of events that they had. And so, I guess we could just tell why we're even connected to WinShape and what that's all about first, because that's such a big part of our story. Right. So basically, when Heather confessed to being unfaithful, that was in 2011. So about 6 weeks after confession, we had the opportunity to go to a marriage intensive. And we went on the campus of Berry College. And that's where WinShape is located. So
what's the city?
In Rome, Georgia. And so we went there and spent a full week. It was one counselor, and there were us and four other couples. And life-changing. Completely changed our marriage and started us on the road to healing and just gave us so many tools.
And not only that, but I remember leaving there and knowing that we were going to make it.
There's no doubt at that point.
And we were in it. We were, it was like, not only are we going to make it, but we are going to rock this thing. And we are going to, we just knew our marriage was going to be better than it was before. And for 6 weeks after, that's a God-sized miracle. And I don't know that miracle would have happened as fast if we had not been there and just surrounded by godliness and people who were praying for us and people who were pouring into our marriage. And you have to tell why we even ended up there.
Well, I was actually just thinking about that, and I was like, I don't know if I want to tell that part because it's part of the video. It's part of the story.
That's fine.
So I'm not even going to tell you because that's a miracle in itself. How we actually found WinShape Marriage and the intensive.
But God put it on your heart.
Oh, absolutely.
He put it specifically on your heart.
So that's the teaser. You got to go watch it now. Okay, so but we went, and that was in 2011, and we had never been back.
Yeah.
They don't just do intensives. They have all kinds of cool retreats, and those retreats they book up and sell out months and months and months in advance.
Years.
Sometimes years. Like if you went on there right now and looked at their retreat schedule, I would be surprised if you found anything available at any of the different retreats probably until the end of next year. But they do premarital, which our son actually, our son and his fiance, they were there.
Yeah, they just went a couple of weeks ago.
Yep. So. And so it's still just an amazing ministry. But
and they do, and it's not just marriage even. They so many just family things, you know. I mean, they have things for parents with adopted children, and
blended families.
But
a lot of those are geared towards the marriages,
right.
but they are specific for those things. And then you have like adventure based where you can do ropes course stuff. There's so much stuff. So anyway, we had never gone back for any of those things. Not real sure why. We just never had. And then 2 years ago, year and a half ago or whatever, we actually got an invitation, and it was because I think the director of WinShape Marriage at the time, she was on our podcast. They had actually asked if they could be a part of our podcast. We had her, we interviewed her, and then not long after that, we got invited to be a part of something that's called the Marriage Collective, and it was a very surreal experience because it's a collection of marriage ministries, and they bring them to WinShape once a year and really just pour into those ministries. And these are like some of our heroes, you know?
Yeah.
And we got invited to go and be a part of it. And that was the first time driving back onto that campus since we had been there all those years before.
I think at that point it had been 13 years.
13 years, that's right. It had been 13 years. And so we just just how humbling that was to go, man, we were up the hill at the place where it's called Normandy. We were up the hill at Normandy in a marriage intensive, and here we are today being fed and just life-giving to us as marriage ministry.
Yeah.
It was bizarre, but man, so powerful. So anyway, while we were there this 2 years ago, we met some people from the WinShape staff, and they invited us to come back to another weekend, which we did. Did some host couple training. They ended up making that into a discipleship thing, and that's when they reached out and they said, hey, we would like to use your story as part of our curriculum for this marriage discipleship, new programming that they were starting. And so last summer, we started this process, and we got on a call with them and just started sharing our story. Well, they come to find out we're going to be at WinShape for the Marriage Collective again, just a couple of months later. And so they're like, well, why don't you guys, while you're here, we'll do some video, we'll record your story. And so we didn't get to have free time like all of our other marriage ministry friends, but it's fine. It was all worth it. So they took us to the studio, had this beautiful studio set up, which you guys will see on the video.
Yeah. Well, and I'm just going to tell you, it was the coolest thing because they found a church pew, old wooden pew, like that you would see in an old timey church. And I've told them a million times, if y'all ever get rid of that pew, give it to me. But the pew was there, and then they had a light with all these different colors laid on top of it to look like stained glass. And so that was the backdrop of the whole video. Was we were sitting on the pew with the stained glass view behind us. And it was, I walked in and I just, of course around it, it's just a warehouse. But I was like, how did they make this look just stunning? It was fabulous.
So when they asked us to do this, they wanted us to share our story. And so we did. We actually spent like about an hour and a half of me sharing my side of the story, and then we just stopped and we told it again, but you told your side. So we were there for about 3 hours, and then they came back to WinShape and they videoed some stuff there. And so really while all this was going on, we didn't even really know what they were using it for.
Yeah.
And I'm not positive they knew what they were using it for either.
Or they knew and then it changed.
Yeah, it shifted. So they ended up calling us and they said, hey, we've basically narrowed this thing down to about 19 minutes, which is a long video.
Don't worry, it's shorter than that.
But they said, we have some other things that we would love to do with this video. And they said, would it be okay if we came to your hometown and spent a few days and videoed some stuff there? And of course, we were like, yes. So we worked it out. And so back in December, they came and they spent 3 days here.
It was 2 guys. They were
most unbelievable guys.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And I mean, they left their families
Yeah.
to come, young kids.
Lifelong friends now.
Yes, lifelong friends. Friendships were made that from just people who are doing, like, using their talents to capture something that then's going to honor the Lord. Like, if they had not done that video well, it wouldn't point people to Jesus.
Yeah.
But they're using the gifts God gave them to their talents to point people to Jesus in this way. And it was a privilege, such a privilege to meet them.
Yeah, so while they were here, I had a chance, and I asked them. I said, what is this used for? And really, I don't know how all this stuff works. Like when you produce something, who has rights to it, and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, can we use it? And they were just so gracious. Like, we just want people to hear this story, and this is not like just a WinShape thing. Like, this is y'all's story. But from our side of it, it was like, yeah, but WinShape did this.
All the hard work.
and so, we just wanted to be real sensitive to that. And so anyway, they finally got it finished. They sent us
Well, they came here, and that was a crazy experience too, because they asked us to send old videos to outsource it. And the companies that you can send your little tapes to and all of that, and VHS and all of that. And they digitize it. So we were just sitting in our home looking at home videos from when the boys were little, and it was just special.
Yeah, so they spent those days, and they ended up going back, doing all the editing, and finally, a few weeks ago, they said, we think we've finished. We want you guys to see it. And so they sent it to us. They texted us, they texted us the link. And man, we just, sat in awe and amazement and
cried.
And it was amazing. And so, we let some weeks pass because they were going to use it for some pretty big things over at WinShape. They wanted to kind of reveal it in a couple of different ways. But we recently reached out to them. We were like, hey, we've got some things coming up that we would love to use it. And so we asked permission. And asked them if we could use it. And of course, they were like, we want you guys to just use it however you want to. And so we've kind of been going through the process of getting it, embedded onto our website and also just on our YouTube channel so that we can show people. We'll use it in different events and things like that as we go and speak and all that kind of stuff. But we were kind of waiting for the right moment to just sort of launch it. And so that time's here. And so we're like, all right, well, we want to actually have an actual podcast where we kind of explain, because the cool thing about the story is it's so beautifully done, probably better than we could share ourselves, because it's obviously video. And so there's a lot to it. A lot of behind the scenes kind of things. But then on top of that, at the end, they weave the part of the story about WinShape in such an incredible way where it's not, at no point do you watch this and go, this is a commercial for WinShape. And
in no way do you look at it and go, this is a commercial for Redeemed Marriage.
No, not at all. In fact, it mentions us for about 10 seconds. It shows us doing our podcast.
That's
it is just our testimony.
It is which
that's what we
is
want.
Jesus.
Yes.
That is the part. I just turned it off when it was over, and I was like, that, although it was us telling a story and it was about how WinShape was a part of that, and it was about Redeemed Marriage a little bit, and it was this is what Jesus can do. Like, this is the miracle that he can work if you're willing to let him. And not only the miracle that he worked in our marriage, but the miracle that he continues to use our marriage story to give people hope.
Yep.
And it's not hope in us. It's not hope in your marriage can make it. It is hope in Jesus. It is that if you will hand it over to him, he can work a miracle. I mean, he is powerful enough to do that for everybody. And that's what, like, we've been praying all month for these couples and hearing, I mean, reading their stories. And I mean, I would say 90% of them are not, oh, will you just pray for my marriage? They are gut-wrenching. This is what we're dealing with right now. And I never read those and go, that's too big for God.
Yeah.
He can't handle that one. And even you the other day were like, I remember you saying, sometimes reading these, I'm like, oh my gosh, like we just, have 10 to 12 a day that we're like reading through and going, man, that's a lot. Oh, that's hard. Ooh, that's big. How are they going to get? God doesn't think that. Like, it's not like he's overwhelmed with all these requests and we just have 10 or 12 a day. Can you imagine what he hears? But he's God and he's big enough for all of that. And that's what I love about the job they did on this video is I don't even feel like there's not even I hope that people don't think we're pushing ourselves and we're just, because that's not what it's about. It's not, I mean, like, I don't feel that in the least. It is share this, share it with your friends, share it with your church, share it with whoever that you feel like needs hope in a story that we absolutely could not have done on our own. There's none of the pieces that we were like, oh, we did that right. I mean, it's not, if we did anything right, it's because God said, do this, and we listened. And I just love that part of the story is that it is not a spotlight on WinShape, although they could spotlight it because they were a huge part of our story. It's not a spotlight on how Rusty handled it. It's not a spotlight on how Heather, repented and went after the Lord. It's none of that. It's a spotlight on the power of Jesus and what he can do if you're willing.
Yeah, and I was actually talking to the guy from WinShape when we were just kind of talking about him sending everything so that we could use it and how, what all he was going to send me. And I said something about, he kept saying, this is y'all's story. And I said, yeah, but this is also, like I feel like we had this kind of flipped way. Like, he felt like, hey, we don't own this. This is y'all's story. And I felt like, we don't own this. Y'all produced this. And so the great thing about it is that they want to just promote our story so people can receive hope. And we're kind of on this side going, well, we will forever promote WinShape because not because of this video, but because of what they did and the part of our story that led to a lot of our healing. And so, yeah, I mean,
and it's not, we didn't start promoting WinShape because of this video.
No.
We've been telling about WinShape from the very beginning because of the role that it played. And we even got to go back into Normandy when we were there last, and just, it was so surreal just walking around because of the place that we were. They were like, do y'all have any pictures of when we were here? And we were like, that would be a negative because, I mean, A, it was almost 15 years ago, but then B, like, we weren't in the mood to be like, oh, let's take our picture in front of this building. I mean, we were, we had our phone at night in case my parents called because one of the kids needed us or something like that. But that was it, because it wasn't something that we wanted to document at that point. But just them, even just going back and being, seeing it and reminiscing, it was amazing.
So a lot of you are like, okay, well, where can I watch this video? Well, that's why we wanted to take this time to talk about the video. Wanted to share kind of where the heart behind it, where it came from and all that. But probably the easiest place is going to be on our website. So the redeemedmarriage.com. Just the right there when you get on the page, you're going to find our story, and so you'll be able to watch it there. And then we're going to have it on our YouTube channel. If you're not already a member of or subscribed,
a member.
If you've not already subscribed,
pay your dues.
Yeah, you don't have to pay to be a subscriber to our YouTube channel. But if you get on our YouTube channel, it's The Redeemed Marriage, and if you'll go there, you'll be able to find it. And that's obviously a great way for you to share it with other people as well. But we'll be kind of pushing it over the next week or so just on our social media channels, because I just think that there's so many people, especially those of you that are new, because we have a lot of new listeners and a lot of new people that are following us on social media because of our prayer challenge that's been going on in February. And so those of you that are new, if you just want to know who we are, because I think a lot of times, just going back to what Heather was talking about with the prayer request, we read these prayer requests and they're hard, and some of you, though, you're probably thinking, yeah, but I don't know if these people can really relate to my story. And you'd be surprised and you'd probably be shocked. And so our video and our story will share a lot of that and kind of open up our world and what we experienced and what we went through, and then the healing that took place because of a miracle that God performed in our marriage. So, all right. So you guys check it out.
Yeah.
Be sure to share it with other people, whoever you think might need some hope and just might need some encouragement to hear a story like that. We'd be honored.
And if our friends at WinShape are listening, thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you. It was an honor to work with you guys, and thank you for using your talents to help our ministry.
Yep, for sure. All right, you guys. We'll see y'all next time.
Peace.
Peace.